Dear viewers, thanks for watching Web Techies and thanks for subscribing Web Techies. If not, please subscribe Web Techies and press the bell icon. In this video, we are going to see everyone can learn Scrum Framework. What we are going to learn in this video? What is Scrum? Agile Manifesto, Scrum Framework, Events of Scrum, Scrum Roles, Scrum Artifacts, etc. So what is Scrum? Scrum is the most popular framework in Agile. Scrum is a lightweight framework and that will help people. Scrum is an iterative and incremental approach. Scrum framework is based on a set of values and principles and its practices. Scrum principles and lessons can be applied to all kind of teamwork projects. So it's very easy to apply Scrum framework in any type of projects like big or small or medium or complex or whatever the projects. Scrum is most adaptable, fast, flexible and effective agile framework that is designed to deliver the value to the customer throughout the development of the project. The Agile Manifesto. Agile Manifesto is a document which has a brief statements of 4 values and 12 principles. So this point I will discuss in a further slides. The next point is like it has been lightweight framework of for the Agile Manifesto was designed to improve upon existing software development process and a new one. This Agile Manifesto was published in the year of February 2001 with 17 software developers. The slogan for this Agile Manifesto is we are uncovering better ways of developing software by doing it and helping others to do it. What is Agile Manifesto? Agile Manifesto has 4 values and 12 principles. So, what are those 4 values? Individuals and interaction over process and tools. That is the first value. Second one is working software over comprehensive documentation. Third one is customer collaboration over contract negotiation. And the last is responding to the change over a following plan. So what are all these? Let me go one by one. Individual and interactions over process and tools. So this is the first value that gets straight to the core of the Agile methodology. The main point here is the focus. The focus is on the people and communication plays a vital role in the Agile methodologies. Second, working software over comprehensive documentation. In early days, before the Agile methodologies and all, the developer has to have the lot of documentations which you have to do every now and then. You have to spend a lot of hours. But in the Agile, these documents are streamlined and condense the information in the user stories. These user stories equip the developer with all the details they need to start working on the software and get it ready for the releases. Third point is customer collaboration over contract negotiation. So this point highlights the customer collaboration here, where interaction with the customer every now and then when we are doing the task or user stories, and from the beginning of uh, the Scrum, we are integrating, like we are doing a interaction with the customers. So we'll get the feedback every now and then, and we'll implement it. And if any changes there, we can easily adopt it. The fourth point is responding to a change over following a plan. So what it is? So agile teams, in short, they will work in a iterative model, meaning they can quickly react and implement the changes on a continuous basis. So for this, we are having a lot of tools like Azure DevOps, Jira. So these are all will help. And we'll be using the CI/CD pipeline as well. So these are the most important values from Agile. And as I told earlier, there is a 12 Agile Manifesto principles. Now we are going to see the principles of Agile. To support the statement of the manifesto, the Agile Alliance gives a set of 12 principles. So the first one is highest priority is to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable software. So what it is a customer satisfaction, and we have to make sure the customer is happy. And the second point is welcome changing requirements even the late in development. So what that is, as a software developers should be capable of handling the changes in the last minute to a project. They should be flexible enough to turn these changes into improvements quickly, minimizing the delays and ensuring an uninterrupted flow of work. The third point is deliver working software frequently from a couple of weeks to a couple of months. So here, Agile team breaks large projects down into a short timelines. Like let's say, for example, in the Scrum, we can have the 2 week sprint, like that. So we have to deliver the projects in a quick and faster way. The fourth one is business people and developers must work together daily throughout the project. As mentioned, as a point itself, it's a collaboration between the Agile project management and the stakeholders and developer team. The fifth one is build projects around motivated individuals, give them the environment and support they need. When you have the right people for the task, the project is more likely to be successful. So spend a time to choose the perfect team before we starting the agile projects. The sixth one is the most efficient and effective method of conveying information. So these days, we are whether the team is in co-located teams, where possible to promote good communication and boost the flow of information. Working software is the primary measure of progress. That is seventh one. So to keep your customer satisfied, you must deliver high quality software. That is your ultimate priority. 8. Agile process promote sustainable development. That means Agile team must be consistent throughout the project lifecycle. And the ninth one is continuous attention to technical excellence. In Agile, you just deliver one good product and call it a day. Your focus should be on continuous improvement and innovations. Then is simplicity. Keep things very simple and use simple terms to measure the work and it's completed. 11th is self-organized team. 12th one is review the work regularly. What is Scrum Framework? The Scrum Framework consists of roles, ceremonies, or we can call it as meetings, then artifacts. The main heart of a Scrum is sprint. All events are the time boxed events. So time boxes, let's say for example, for sprint planning, daily scrums, sprint review, sprint retro, all are all the time boxed events. What are 5 core Scrum values? The first is commitment, openness, courage, respect, and focus. So, what is commitment here? Each member of the Scrum team personally commits to achieving the team goals. What is openness? The Scrum team and its stakeholders agree to be an open but all the work and the challenges with performing the work. So, delivering the honest feedback, that also comes under the openness. The third one is courage. Team member must have the guts to tackle the challenging. Fourth is respect. Scrum team members must respect each other, including each member's opinion, experience, and culture. The last is focus. To help team members stay focused, Scrum Masters can limit the number of tasks or priorities placed on each sprint during the sprints. So now we are going to see the 6 Scrum principles. First is empirical process control. So what is it? So Scrum's core philosophy rests on this foundation. Here there are 3 main ideas. First is transparency, inspection, and adaptation. Then the next is self-organization. As the Scrum process relies on many individuals, self-organization is essential. Everyone involved is empowered to work independently under self-organization principle. The next is collaboration. Scrum is a collaborative process as evidenced by the many roles involved. The principle also focuses on the 3 dimensions of collaboration: awareness, articulation, and appropriation. Then the fourth one is value-based prioritization. So the value-based in Scrum task consistently prioritize the based on the values and the importance from the end users. Fifth one is time boxing. It implies allocating and scheduling certain amounts of time for certain activities. In Scrum, work is done in short releases, cycles called sprints. Usually sprints start from 2 to 4 weeks. Tasks are determined during the sprints planning, usually around 1 to 2 hours of time. The daily meeting consists of 15 minutes. And the last one is iterative development. As a project requirement in a Scrum are consistently being adjusted and revised software development activities. In this framework, are all also repeated, revisited, and reworked to create the best product. Scrum roles or the structure of Scrum team. The Scrum Master, the product owner, the team. So there will be 3 roles will be there. Scrum team is a collection of individuals between 5 to 9 members working together to deliver the required product increments. The product owner is a team member who knows what the customer wants and the relative business value who those wants. He will collect the data from the stakeholders, end users, and the business owner. The Scrum Master helps to keep the team accountable to their commitments to the business and also remove any roadblocks or impediments the team productivity. The role of a Scrum Master is to coach and motivate team members, not enforce rules to them. The development team are structured and empowered by the organization to organize and manage their own work. The resulting synergy optimize the development team's overall efficiency and effectiveness. So, what are events? Events are nothing like ceremonies. In other words, another way we can call it as meeting of a Scrum. So, what are all the ceremonies are there in Scrums are the sprint planning, daily Scrum, sprint review, sprint retrospective. The sprint is an event in itself that contains all the work and all the other events. Normally, the sprint duration it will be 2 weeks or 1 month, and this duration remains consistent for all the sprints in the projects. Sprints enable the predictability by ensuring the inspection and adoption of progress toward a product goal at least every calendar month. A sprint could be cancelled if the sprint goal becomes obsolete. Only the product owner has authority to cancel the sprint. Sprint planning. The sprint planning meeting is conducted before the start of every sprint. So, what we'll go through the sprint planning, we'll agree the sprint goals and negotiate with items from product backlog, and we'll commit to the sprint backlog. Team will come up with the initial list of tasks necessary to complete the committed PBIs. Time boxing for the sprint planning is 2 hours per week, that is 6% of every sprint. And we'll discuss the risk and confidence level. Who can attend the sprint planning meeting? The product owner, the team, the scrum master. The sprint planning focus on answering the following questions. What can we deliver in the upcoming sprint? How we will achieve the necessary work to deliver these items. The next event is daily scrum. The daily scrum meeting not more than 15 minutes. It has to conduct daily. During the meeting, each team member has to explain what did yesterday he completed, what they are going to do today, if there has any assistance is needed or any block. So who all can attend this daily scrum is the team, the scrum master. Product owner and the stakeholders are optional. Whenever needed, they can be joined, or if not, they don't want to join the meeting. Sprint review. So as per Agile Manifesto, if you see at regular intervals, the team reflects on how to become more effective, then tunes and adjusts its behavior accordingly. Sprint review focus on the product being developed, especially on the potentially shippable product increment created during the sprint. The sprint review is a working section, and the Scrum team should avoid limiting it to a presentation. So, time boxing for sprint review should be 1 hour per week. The overall can attend is the product owner, the team, Scrum Master, even stakeholders. The Scrum Master ensures that the meeting plays on time. The participants understand the purpose. The meeting is focused on the required agenda and is completed within the required duration. The sprint review includes the following aspects. Attendees include, as already told, the Scrum team should be there, key stakeholders should be there. We got to invite the product owner. The product owner explains what backlog items have been completed during the sprint and what has not been completed. The team will discuss what went well during the sprint and what problems they occurred and how the problems is solved. The entire group then discuss on what to do next. Thus, the sprint review provides the valuable input to the sprint planning for the subsequent sprint. The outcome of the sprint review is an updated product backlog, which defines the probable product backlog items for the next sprint. The last meeting for the sprint is sprint retro. In this sprint retro, we will see what the team has been delivered so far and what went well through the sprint, what went wrong in the sprint, and what we have to learn in the upcoming sprint. So the normal duration for this sprint retro is, for 1 week sprint it should be 45 minutes, for 2 weeks it should be 90 minutes. So it will go like this. So before starting the sprint retro, we have to make sure 5 steps that we have to follow to conduct the sprint retro. What are all these? Set the stage, gather the data, generate the insight, decide what to do, and close the retrospective. Scrum Artifacts. It has 4 minimum Scrum Artifacts we have to have for every sprint. That is product backlog, sprint backlog, increment, sprint burn down charts. So what is product backlog? The product backlog is a list of all the products, list of all the features that are required in the product. The product backlog owned by the product owner. In product backlog, it contains features, functions, requirement, enhancement, and fixes. Product backlog items can be updated at any time by the product owner. Product backlog refinement means adding the detailed estimates and priority order to the product backlog. This is an ongoing process performed by the product owner and the team. What is sprint backlog? The sprint backlog is a set of product backlog items selected for that sprint. The sprint backlog is a forecast by the team about what functionality will be made available in the next increment and the work needed. The sprint backlog is a plan with enough detail that can be understood by the team to track in the daily scrum. When we are coming to the sprint backlog, we have to make sure every product backlog items has the acceptance criteria, which is most important for the development team. So if you have the acceptance criteria, so testers can create the test cases and developers can achieve the user story very in a good way. And every story must have the DBOD, not the story, sorry. Every sprint must have the DBOD. That is definition of done. For example, reviewed by someone or a particular stakeholder, all issues are fixed. Like a bulleted point, it should be there. That is the definition of done. And it has to give the approval from the product owners. And the next we are going to see is increment. Increment is nothing but it's the sum of all the product backlog items completed during a sprint. and all the previous sprints. At the end of a sprint, the new agreement must be done, which means it must meet the Scrum team definition of done, which I already told you in the previous points. And the last one is the burn down charts. The burn down charts are graphs that gives an overview of a progress over time while completing a project. As the task are completed, the graph burn downs to 0. It is used as a tool to guide the development team to a successful completion of a sprint on time with a working final product. Definition of done. Definition of done is important. The teams have a clear definition of done. This definition can be another type of artifact. So it should consist of business or functional requirements, quality, and non-functional requirements. For example, here I can show you like all acceptance criteria is met, unit test coverage greater than 85%, functional test pass. Like this, we have to predefine. We have to have the points, bullet points. So when you are make sure if it is done means you have to make sure a tick point over there. So it means these are the points are covered in the sprints. Burn down charts. Using burn down charts, we can easily track the sprint. A burn down chart is a graphical representation of how quickly the team is working through your customer user stories. In short, a burn down chart shows how much remains to be done y-axis at any given days since work started at x-axis and until the work is completed. For example, sprint duration is 2 weeks, number of days per week is 5 days, number of hours is 6 hours, number of resources is 6. So if you want to calculate it, 2 into 5 into 6 to 6, so it comes around 360 hours. So there is an ideal scenario of 36 hours of work get reduced in the remaining work, and the burn down charts looks as follows.